NFTs like Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, Cool Cats, Doodles, and others that are selling for incredible prices? Would you like to make your own collection of NFTs that you can sell for a lot of money? Well, I'm Carolyn Brown. I'm a multidisciplinary artist, teacher, and NFT collection creator. And I want to show you just how quick and easy it is to create your own NFT collection so that you can sell it for a lot of money. Okay, so I took pictures of my elephant and I took pictures of the different accessories, the hats, and the flowers. So I'm going to put this into Photoshop and we're going to look at layers. So if you're unfamiliar with layers, it's like stacking up pieces of paper, or more like stacking up clear pieces of paper like this picture shows. So you can see how my top layer is a flower, the layer underneath it is a hat, the layer beneath that is the ears and the eyes, and the layer below that is the outline of the elephant, and then there's a background layer. Here I've opened up my elephant drawing in Photoshop. This is the picture I took of the paper. So it's a black line drawing on white paper. It's all one piece. The layers panel says background, so it's just a solid white square with an elephant on it. There's no layers here yet, and there's no transparency. So the very first thing I want to do is get rid of the background. I want to separate the elephant from the background. So I'm actually going to double tap on background to make that layer have transparency. And then I'm just going to get one of my favorite selection tools and tap on the area around the elephant and then press the delete key. So now we see these checkers, which indicates transparency. So basically the elephant is solid, everything around it is clear. If we add another layer, and just tap the plus button down there, and I'm going to put it below the elephant, and let's name this elephant so we can keep track of what we're doing. Okay, so if I go to the layer that's underneath elephant in the stack, and I pick a color, like a light pink, I can fill that layer with that color. And oops, the elephant's still selected, so my layer actually has a hole in it. So let's deselect and get rid of those marching dots. And now I can fill the entire layer. Okay, it's just a minor thing. It doesn't make that much difference, but it's neater if you have everything the way you expect it to be. All right, so that's a new background. Okay, now I'm going to add another layer and pick a different color and make another background. Let's get a kind of minty color here, and one more. Another color, okay, and to fill with the color, to fill the background with the color, I'm using Option Delete or Alt Delete if you're on Windows. Okay, so now I have 3 different color backgrounds and an elephant. Things are going good. Okay, the next step is going to be to add color options for the eyes and the ears. So I'm going to go back up to my elephant layer, and I'm going to select an ear. Hold down the shift key, select the other ear. Keep holding the shift key and select the white area of the eyes. Now I need to put a layer here because I want the color to be above the elephant drawing so that it's separate, and then I can have multiple color variations. Okay, so I'll go back to my colors. Stick with purple for a little while, and I'm going to Option or Alt Delete, and now I have purple eyes and ears. Okay, I'm going to add another layer on top of that, and we will go sort of bluish, and one more. Add a layer and pick another color, maybe some kind of orange. All right, so now I have 3 different eyes and ears. And we'll change the names of these too so we can keep things straight. Okay, at this point you might want to try different combinations, see how things are looking, right? You can make adjustments and change your colors. So I've only been looking at the ears on the purple, with the purple background. So what happens if I look at them with the green background? Right, those are okay. So you can step through each of your different color options with each of your different background options. Right, and things are coming out fairly well here. So I'm going to continue along. And the next step is going to be to add the hat. So the hat is a different drawing. So I have to get that into here as well. Hello, my friend. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm so excited to help you create 10,000 NFTs. That's a lot of artwork, but we're going to find that it's actually really quick and it's pretty simple. We're going to do this without any code. It's just going to be drawing, a little bit of Photoshop, and a little utility that's in a browser. You may be familiar with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which are these drawings here, and you can see each ape is different. When we look close, they're all starting from the same ape, but what makes them different are the colors, the accessories, the things that change their personality. And if we look at this collection here, doodles, very different style, very different colors, but the same concept is applied. There's a basic doodle character, and then there are different colors, different accessories, and there's combinations. This is how we're going to create ours. We're going to start with a basic character. So the very first step is you need a plan. So plan on what your character is going to be. I'm going to use an elephant, a very simple elephant. And then you want to decide what things you're going to change. So I'm going to change colors. I'm going to add some hats and some flowers. So I need to create the artwork for each of these things. Okay, I'm going to keep it very simple, that you can draw however you want. It works no matter which way you draw. So I'm just going to get out my sketchbook and make some notes first of all. So I'm going to make some notes. I need to make a plan, and my plan is going to be to draw elephants. I'm going to change the colors, give them some hats, and maybe some flowers. So I need to move around here, make some sketches for my different elephants. And I'm also looking at the areas where I can change color. So on this one up here, I can say, maybe the eye will change color and the inner part of the ear will change color as well. So once I've decided on my elephant, I would trace it over with a dark pen to make a nice strong line like that. And I'm just tracing it so that it's much easier for me to get the basic shapes later on when I want to change the colors. Make sure I have my other drawings. So part of my plan was elephant, and I'm going to change the color of the eyes and the ears. And then I'm going to draw some hats. Actually, I drew 3, but it turned out this one I didn't really like. So I'm only going to use the bucket hat and the cap. And I drew a few flowers. Once we have all of our elements drawn, we take a picture of it. You can use your phone, you can use a scanner, whatever you want to do to digitize it. Get your digitized file into your computer, and we'll move over there in the next video and take a look at how we're going to build up 10,000 different elephants. I opened up the bucket hat, same way I opened up the picture of the elephant, and exactly the same thing here. It's a black line drawing on white page. So again, it's all one piece. So we're going to need to separate the hat from the background, from its background as well. Double tap on the background to unlock it, and then get the selection tool and just delete the background. Okay. Now I want to move the hat to where the elephant is. So I'm just going to take the layer, drag it over, and put it on the tab for the elephant, and just drop it here. So I drew my hat to be the right size. You may not have all your accessories the right size, so you can use these handles here to change the size, and you can rotate them and make adjustments after you've brought the accessories into the layers of the character drawing. I want this to be on top, so let's put it all the way up there, and we're going to make it hat 1. I actually might leave that rotated a little bit. It's kind of cute. And I'm going to add some colors for this too. So I'm going to get my selection tool, and I'm going to select that part of the hat. I'm going to make it a nice bright yellow here. There we go. And I'm going to make the other part of the hat a slightly different color. Like that. So I actually just put the color right in the hat. That's fine if you're only going to have one, but if you want to have 2 of them, it gets kind of messy, so it's actually better to do it the way I did with the ears. However, we will just proceed. So in this case, what I'll do is, since I only want 2 of these hats, I'm going to take hat 1 and just duplicate it. So I'll have hat 2 is going to be exactly the same right now, but I will go in and give it some different colors. And then I'm just going to have 2 variations of the bucket hat. I'm going to use the other hat as well, so the cap here. And again, when I took the picture of this, it's a black line drawing on white page, so that's what I have here. I need to release the background and select and delete it. So now my cap is solid and everything around it's transparent. Okay, grab that layer and drag it over onto the elephant and drop it down here. Okay, so I need to turn off the other hats so I can get this one positioned where I want it. And again, I drew it to be exactly the size I needed. So it just fits right in there. And this one, I'm going to add some colors as well. I'm going to select the back part of the cap, make it dark blue, and then pick a slightly lighter blue. Okay, and then I'll duplicate this layer. Okay, and then in hat 4, we're going to just put the color right in the hat again. And I think that looks good with the blue, so I'll just leave that one the way it is too. Great. So now we have our hats, our eyes, our ears, and our backgrounds. So we're just going to add a few flowers. And those are just going to be individual artwork that doesn't need to be changed. All right, the flowers, I just drew in the colors that I wanted, and to save a little bit of time here, I've already deleted the backgrounds. So I'm just going to take this layer 1 of the flower and drop that on the elephant file and then position it where I want it. And if you want to rotate it, grab a corner, slide it around like that. I did the same for the other flowers. I already opened them and got rid of the backgrounds. And we're just going to drop that on the elephant. Okay, I'm going to turn off flower 1 so I can see, it's not really a flower, but I can see what my heart balloon is doing here. And then the last one is over here. I did 2 flowers together. And we'll just drop that here as well. Turn off, grab flower 3 and position it. And again, run through all of them and see if you like all your color combinations together. Right, so we can say, okay, let's try this hat, that flower, blue ears, and a green background. Right, and say, okay, looks pretty good.
Or how does it look with a purple background? Maybe purple ears, maybe. Eventually we will generate every combination. So that's why you want to check, right? So you want to make sure that your combinations look good because every combination is possible. Now we need to export this out as individual files. So what we're going to get is, let me turn off everything except the flower for an example. So every file we get will be this square with the artwork in position. So we'll get one that looks like that, one that looks like this, the hat looks like that. The ears are going to be kind of odd looking, but yeah, like this and so forth.
Okay, now that our Photoshop file is set up, our layers for every part of this that we want is drawn and colored exactly the way we want it. And we're going to export it. And we're going to export it so that each layer becomes its own element. And the layer is also going to be transparent in the areas around the drawn part so that you can see through them, just like I showed you in the stacking drawing example earlier. So there will be a layer for flower and everything around the flower is clear so you can see through that layer, and then a layer for the hat. Again, everything around the hat is clear so you can see down to the next layer, which is the ears and the eyes. And again, everything around those drawings is clear so that you can see through to the actual character drawing. And then finally, the area around the character is clear so that you can see the background. Okay, Photoshop will create the files automatically if we pick exactly the right settings. It's actually quite simple. So let's take a look.
Okay, so we're going to go over to our file menu. We're going to go down to export and we're going to do layers to files. Okay, I'm going to leave the visible layers unchecked because as you can see my layers are all invisible right now. It doesn't matter, just make sure you don't check that. That way you'll get everything regardless. Okay, and then two very important things are you want to check transparency, so that maintains the transparent area around. We can't see anything, but it maintains the transparent area of the square here. And you want to uncheck trim layers. So what trim layer does is it will get rid of all the extra space around something, but you want the extra space in every single file. And then you hit run. And you can actually watch it work. It was kind of fun. That's done.
All right, now we have a whole lot of files. And I'm going to flip through a few of them quickly so that you can see that they are the same size. So even though the flower is tiny and only is in part of the frame, you get the entire picture frame, right? The same thing for the hats and eyes, ears, everything, right? So everything is in the same exact square size. And that's really important because we need that in order to build up our 10,000 pictures.
These are our layers. So if we look at each one, it has the full square of the picture and only the artwork for that accessory or for the eyes and ears or for the elephant. But before we generate the individual NFT artwork, let's talk about how many we're going to end up with. I'm doing a small example. This is not going to be 10,000, but exactly the same concept and the same steps will get you to 10,000. So let's look at how many we have. So we have 3 flowers. We have 4 hats. We have 3 ear colors, 1 body color, 1 body drawing, and 3 backgrounds. And that equals 108. All right, so that's not 10,000. But if we had 10 flowers, 10 hats, 10 ear colors, 1 body drawing, 1 character drawing, and 10 backgrounds, that is 10,000. So using exactly the same plan, all we need to do is make more flowers, more hats, more ear colors, and more backgrounds. Backgrounds and ears are very easy. You just keep copying and changing the color. The hats, you can just continue to change the colors as well. And even the flowers that I drew, I could just change the colors, or I could draw more flowers, but I actually don't need to do that much more work to get 10,000. Now let's go take a look at how we actually get these combinations into our NFT images. All right, make sure you have all of your files exactly the way you want them. And then we're going to hop over to the NFT generator webpage. So here's the URL for it, and I think I can also link it in the description below. And this is our NFT art generator. We're going to tap Get Started. And we're going to bring in our files. And right now background is highlighted. So although in Photoshop we were working with background on the bottom and everything else above, this one is basically upside down. So background is first. All right, so I'm just going to tap over here and get my first background. And I can get more than one at a time, so we're just going to shift and pick the next two, and there we go. So we have those three, and then I go to the next layer, which is going to be the body. Type that in, tap plus, and go find the elephant's body. It's all by itself. And then we have the ears. So I'll shift and select all of those. And the hats. And lastly, the flowers. All right, so all of our parts are here. We can take a preview of something by just tapping the preview button there, and we'll see a random combination. All right, so we've got all the parts, and we've seen a preview of one of the randomly generated elephants. Everything's working great. Now we can decide how many we want to create. If you're doing 10,000, go for 10,000. Right now the collection size here is 5, so it's going to make 5. We can try that, or I'm going to let's go for 50. Underneath 50, you can see the dimension size. This is just the size that I picked when I was in Photoshop. So it'll be whatever your Photoshop file size is. And then below that, you want to switch to export PNG. And now you can tap Generate Collection and put in your email. And you'll see it step through each picture. Tap the download button and you'll get the zip file right on your desktop. I saved the zip file with my layers file, so everything is together. I'm going to open this up, and inside the sample folder I have assets and I have metadata. So assets are the actual files that it created. So you can see all of these, and the metadata is the associated data for each one that will go along with it when you put the NFT on a marketplace. So NFTs are all data driven, like it's on the blockchain, so it's important to have this element as well. So just make sure you keep both of those. Here I've opened my assets folder so you can see some of my NFT collection. I encourage you to share your class project by taking a screenshot of your NFT collection. Head over to Projects and Resources, tap Create Project, and add your screenshot. Take time to look at each other's NFT collections and contribute supportive feedback. If you want to share on social media, tag me on Twitter at @digitaLart or Instagram at foothill.art. I really look forward to seeing what you create.
And there you have it, your very first collection of NFT artwork. We went through all the steps. We made a plan, picked a character, drew the character, decided what kinds of accessories the character would have, and what kinds of colors we would use for the background, the character, and the accessories. We moved all that into Photoshop, created a layer for each element, the backgrounds, in our case, the ears, the hats, and the flowers. But for whatever you're doing, just make sure the layers are there. And once those are all created, we exported them out as transparent layers, transparent files that we brought to the NFT generator page and assembled them to create our full collection. So whether you're doing 5,000 or 10,000, the process is the same. Remember, make a plan. The character is really the framework. So draw the character, then decide what are the elements you want to change to create variety and individuality. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I really look forward to seeing the NFT collections that you create. So please share. I'm always eager to see what students do, and it's so inspiring when people take the techniques and apply them in their own way. Once you have your collection, you're ready to upload to a marketplace where you can sell your NFTs. Or you can mint them right off your webpage if you want to go that route. There's so many options and so many ways that you can use NFT in the new Web3 world. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I had a blast. I hope you did too.